What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music Is My Business, and we are live from Urban Grind Studios, Smoky Studios in the heart of city of Chicago, Chi-Town.
That's where it's at.
That's right. And my co-host to the left.
I'm Puerto Rican Creative. Whatever you create, I design. You already know what it is.
And y'all already know it's the Thot boy Zello, SMG Zello, aka the Talk a Lot artist, man. What's up?
I got a question. So if you were Irish, would it be like irishcreative.com or would it?
I mean, I don't know. I just take pride in being a Puerto Rican. I don't know. I can't speak on if I was Irish. I'm not Irish.
Just saying.
I'm like so proud of being Puerto Rican. That's just in my blood. That's just
Right.
who I am. That's just like what I grew up being.
Check me out, ScandinavianCreative.com.
Man, you could. You could if you was truly trying hard. That's what you wore on your sleeve.
No, you got to rep that. No, I feel you. So we're you know what? I heard something. I'm gonna just side note on. I seen this thing where this guy said he would never let his kids wear a jersey, another jersey, little and growing up. And the guy asked him why, and he says because as a man, I want him to have pride in his last name, and I never want him to have somebody else's last name on his back. And when I heard that hit me different.
That's deep.
That is deep.
I get him a jersey in his name.
That's what I'm saying.
See,
like now I gotta adjust.
Have everything.
He's gotta have it.
Everything.
So it's a lot of work. Shout out W4, man, my boy. So what we're talking about, this is called Behind the Grind. This is a special segment here on Urban Grind TV. And what we do is we look into the behind the scenes, the actual industry, the people, how the industry operates, right? The people that are part of it. And one of the other things we do is we drop gems here. We're dropping knowledge and things that should be common sense that really ain't. So what I want to talk about today is the entertainer travel checklist. All this stuff's going to be available at UrbanGrindTV.com. There's a contact us button. They just fill it out, put their email in there, and we're going to send them this form. But it's an entertainer travel checklist. It's really something dope. And this is if you travel and you're in the entertainment industry, you're an artist, you're a model, you're an actor, you're a producer, you're a director. If you're traveling across country with thousands of dollars in equipment, you need a checklist. And am I lying, Sinister?
Not at all, man.
Sinister. We had a checklist because we had a bunch of equipment that we had to travel with, and I ain't gonna remember it all. And we want to leave. We want to come back with what we left with. So
if not more.
Sometimes more, right? So it really spiraled off into this travel checklist. It really came about from experiences that we had as soon as a few months ago and over the last 22 years in the business. And this is the do's and don'ts, and this is something you need to really have if you're traveling. If you're like me and I can't remember everything, I go with a checklist. So what do you think would be on the checklist? What do you think the first thing should be without looking at the paper?
Everything in your wallet. Whatever you carry in your wallet.
Break that down. What's in the wallet? Because some people
Credit
ain't got
card.
nothing in there. They got a Ventura bus card.
Why the fuck
and
do you own a wallet if you don't have anything in there?
They ain't got none in there. That's what I'm telling you. So can
you know what? Manifesting. I love that for y'all.
What should be in the wallet?
Credit cards.
Your credit cards. Just
means
be
of
clear.
transportation.
Your own credit cards.
Means of transportation. Your debit cards. Your ID. I like to keep my insurance cards in there.
Costco card.
You a Costco member?
Yes, I'm a
proud
Costco member.
I want to get to that level in life. Where
I made the joke. Listen,
Costco member. That's a different level. Y'all don't even understand.
We made the joke though. Look, I go there because I eat my membership price in free samples. Mm-hmm. So when I go there, me and my kid cruise and we try all the free stuff, and I figure it levels out after a few trips, and then you get a lot of everything. So, and the reason that's a joke is I was cleaning my wallet before this last trip when we went to New York, and I took out my Costco card because I'm like, I don't even know if they got Costco. I didn't look. And we were like a block or two from the hotel we were staying in. I think it was in Queens. And no lie, what did we want? We walked by a Costco.
Yeah, we most definitely did.
And if I could have used my ID or whatever, but it was just funny that I took it out and I didn't think I needed it. So some of the stuff that people, for some god reason, adults don't think they need when they're traveling, but you need a valid government ID, identification, your identification.
Not a year old.
I definitely had problems with that going out of town.
Preach, talk to him.
No, it's all funny until you gotta you get right there to where you're at, and you can't even get in because you ain't got your ID. And most definitely, most of the time, you got to travel with ID to get to where you're going anyway. So when I was in the airport, I also made another mistake. One thing I made a mistake was I had my ID this time, but this time I had put my ID inside of my baggage claim. So I made a mistake and put it in the wrong bag. I was supposed to keep it in my carry-on with me, but I put it in my baggage claim, and for that I had to be extra checked on the second flight to come back to Chicago. But it's definitely a big important it's big on keeping your identification with you, so you can always like get to where you need to be or get into where you need to be, because it ain't no point of you going if you can't even get in. You just wasted all that money and now you can't get in.
Preach to him.
Hey, sometimes you gotta pay extra when you got your ID.
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely.
They're gonna tax you because they might let you in the club, but the club at the dude at the door is gonna be like, you gotta hit him with some money, or he's doing you a favor essentially.
It's an extra $20 on top of your $20 entry fee.
I had to pay $50.
Yo. So we were in Memphis,
Catch me walking to a different club.
and we got a shout out Jay Shields, SEM, Southern Coalition Management. He put us up in a nice casino. So we were staying at the casino and the hotel at the casino.
That was tough for me too.
And like it's 24 hours. You can drink and party and just do whatever you want. You could smoke in there. You could smoke in your room. Whatever. You're good. So like they wouldn't even let you in the casino.
Nah.
So you missed all the free alcohol. We drank all of the Hennessy the casino had by the second night. It was gone.
Love that for you.
And then we moved on to Cavassier by the third day because we're sophisticated like that, right? But if you had a valid ID, which is on the checklist, the real checklist, all jokes aside, it would have worked for you and you would have been able to move around.
Yeah.
Now, somebody who will remain nameless, because he's not here, had a paper ID. And what happens with the paper ID is they take you in a special room and they get real close to you and they get to know you at the TSA at the airport. It's an intimate experience. So like if it's been a while and
They don't know you.
just wear your good underwear, I guess. Wear your good
That's
underwear.
crazy.
But they're gonna take you and they're gonna speak to you in private and they're gonna get intimate and you're gonna get all kind of extra attention. Extra love that you might not want to get while you're at the airport. Is all I'm saying. So your ID is important.
With y'all. Don't even have to go through that. Because to get intimate, because they're going to give you an officer of your same sex.
They're going to check you. They're going to check you out. And maybe you're into that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Point is, have your government ID available for traveling, for getting in locations. If you're an entertainer or a model, more than likely you're going to be at a venue that's going to be 21 and older, or you don't want to walk around with a big X in your hand like a little kid. And you need that. And the other thing that's just as important is a driver's license. You might not even have a car in Chicago. It doesn't matter. If you got a valid driver's license, what if we're there, we're having a good time, Urban Grind, Sinister Music Group, and we drink a lot, and then there's one guy that didn't drink. You may need to be the designated driver. You may be in a thing. What if we get there and the guy who set up the car rental appointment doesn't have a valid debit card? Now he can't rent the car that you need. So you'll have a debit or credit card, and now you need a driver's license.
For your debit, though.
Right. But I'm saying, what if you don't got enough money on it to do it? So there's been peculiar situations you're going to run into traveling and with entertainers. So I'm just saying, have the driver's license with you. Even if you don't own a car, bring your license. Your passport, if it's applicable. If you're leaving the country, Puerto Rico, you don't need one. If you're leaving the country somewhere else, you're going to need your passport.
Puerto Rico, you don't need one. You don't know what I'm talking about, and that's okay. Puerto Rico, you don't need one. Why? Why don't you need one for Puerto Rico? Explain.
Because it's a territory of the United States.
Thank you. Okay.
So
Continue.
I know that.
I know that.
I know that. I know that because I was in the military. So
I just want to make sure that all of us know that.
what do you think the next most important thing you should have besides your IDs? What does everybody have with them 24/7 by their side in their hand?
Phone.
The telephone, exactly. And not only just the telephone, but a telephone with a full charge. A lot of this stuff is online. There's check-ins. You can't even go eat someplace. You got to scan a code and all kinds of stuff and open up, and you need a telephone, so you need a full charge.
I won't even leave my
Speaking
house
of
if
full
my
charge,
phone's-
look, can you press that for me?
See the batteries. Oh, that's a great segue. That's a
Wow.
great segue. See how
I
I
was just
worked that
about
in
to
there?
say,
That's finesse.
I do not leave my house without
See?
my phone at
You
least
didn't-
90%.
See, you got to look at this, and this one's yours. All right, that one makes you full charge when you get
Yeah,
out.
I definitely have problems with full charge.
Full charge. Well, what then the counter to that is I got it on here is I got is like a travel charger or a portable charger. I got one that's built into my backpack, and you can get other external ones.
I got one in the car.
There you go. So travel documents. If it's, I always like to print stuff out. I print it. I bring it with me. It's old school. I got it, but I don't care. I can write on it. I can actually look at it, and I can see stuff. So if my phone dies, I'm not at a loss for it. So your travel documents are very important. So let's say that you get a cheap client, and they put you on a non-direct flight. All right. And you got a layover, you got to switch flights. You need to have all the information where you're landed. What's the second plane number you're getting on? It's super important. Let's talk about carry-on baggage. What do you bring in your carry-on baggage?
Mostly in my carry-on baggage, I be bringing my little stuff that I know I'm gonna need on the plane. So I bring like, I say like. This time I was able to bring like a cover or like something to lay on or something like that, and something
Lay
to keep
on.
me
You
warm.
got a blanket?
Yeah, like a little blanket, a little cover, an extra jacket or something like that, just to keep you warm because
Right.
it is kind of cold up.
Hoodie
Especially
up.
that's if you flying. I don't know if you see them. Yeah, especially like that's what I'm saying. So yeah,
I did not add it to this list, but we do have a tradition is that we all have a Long Island. Everybody that does drink, we have a Long Island before we get on the plane. Do we not?
yeah, nah, most definitely.
I love
get
that.
it. I get us all around the Long Island, so we have a nice buzz and you fall asleep. Sometimes
Yeah.
2 Long Islands, depends how much time we have.
Everybody in
Conservatively.
my viewer session is gonna know doing that.
That's what you got to do. If you don't like flying,
If y'all made it to the
if you
show,
got to
I
go through all
appreciate
the stress of the stuff, like just get the Long Island. Just drink the Long Island because you're gonna knock out a lot smoother on the plane. You're gonna be more relaxed.
Look, just hope you stay asleep because I woke up after that.
That was
While
wait.
I
That was.
in the air. That was
Whoa,
the-
wait. Let's
the
talk
trip
about
to
that.
New York.
New York was
The
your
trip to
first
New York,
time.
That was my first flight.
Your first time on an airplane.
Yeah, that was my first flight.
Were
That
you
was my
having
first time on the
anxiety?
airplane. I wasn't.
Tell her
I
what
was,
happened.
I was scared. I ain't gonna cap.
No, tell her what happened.
So basically, like.
It's a story.
There's
I
always
love
a
this.
story.
Okay, go ahead.
So basically, I was like when I got on the plane. So I got on the plane next to a kid and his father, and the kid was totally fine. But
This
like,
is what a Long Island hit them, though.
But like
Yeah.
the kid was totally
Early
fine.
morning.
So yeah, I had one.
Only one.
It was
Yeah,
strong.
I had
Come
one.
on, you could be
I didn't
on.
taste no
yeah,
pop.
I'm my body little, so liquor gets me easy. So look, I only had one.
No
So,
food.
So the kid is fine the whole time. So by the time we taking off, like I'm grabbing the seats, like I'm clutching the seats, like I'm realizing, like I'm so scared. So I'm looking at the kid the whole time, but he cool. He looking at me like, what is you doing? Like what's wrong with you? Then he looking at his daddy
Wait,
like,
did you have
why?
the pink hat on?
No,
Oh, okay,
no,
okay.
no,
Never
no.
mind.
I wore
I
that
would've
to the
said the
club the
same
next
thing.
night. But then when everything finally adjusted, I fell asleep. So when I fell asleep, I was cool. But then I woke up and forgot I was on the plane. So I woke up with my head to like towards the window, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh
I'm like,
my
oh
He
no.
started panicking.
Yeah, I definitely started
SOSing in the
panicking.
middle of the plane.
Then the little boy just looking at me again. He like, Daddy, why you sit me next to him? I'm like, but whole time this
said
his
that?
first. But he ain't said it, but he was looking.
He said
like,
it with his eyes,
Yeah,
right?
he was looking
Okay.
like. But then whole time this was his first time on the plane too.
So he took it a little better than you?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's crazy.
He probably
though.
had the vodka and juice.
You probably had something heavier than you, like melatonin.
Yes.
Them little gummies.
Yeah, they get them kids the melatonin, knock
Nah,
their ass out.
that was definitely crazy.
So we're gonna give
though.
you melatonin in Long Island next
You
time.
know what? That's
I'm
exactly
good
what
now.
you should
That's
do.
the travel pack.
I'm
Melatonin.
good now.
But he got to sleep it off when he gets there.
I'll be
course.
good now.
No,
Or no, give him something greasy. He'll wake up.
something greasy.
Yeah.
So
Not heavy.
I hate that when you wake up and you forget where you're at. That's weird as hell. Especially
I've
when
done
you're
It was,
20,000 feet in the air and
Nah,
you've never
that
been in an
was-
Oh, no,
airplane.
that's different.
Gotta be a little
That was-
different.
I don't travel
and
like
that's
that.
what I
stay
went
at
through.
home.
That was so scary to me. Like it was
I
crazy
bet.
because my head was on the window and I was like, oh no, that's crazy.
So we're talking about travel documents, right? We got our plane ticket. I asked you about carry-on baggage. What would you bring for a carry-on baggage? What's the essentials for a carry-on?
Deodorant, perfume, A little bit of like lip liner, maybe some
I got a
concealer, face wash cloth.
What's gonna help
maybe-
you travel? This is a like.
What's
a lot
gonna
of-
help me travel?
What's-
No, that's gonna help me travel because if I'm musty on the plane,
Yeah,
I'm
don't be
gonna
musty.
disrupt people.
I had a musty person.
I'm gonna
before.
disrupt myself. I'm gonna disrupt everybody
Yeah.
else. So please do not be musty while you're traveling.
Clean,
Man.
clean
Please.
things.
Okay? So no, yeah. I take some deodorant, I take my shampoo, conditioner, soap, whatever the case may be, a little lip liner,
Travel
some
size
lady, whatever.
shampoo,
Travel
conditioner.
size. Make sure it's appropriate because they will make you throw it out. And then I'll go ahead and make sure that, like, if anything, I'll have like a charger, a portable charger with me, money, like actual cash, not on a debit card format, like actual cash, because we always know that something
gotta have
happens
both.
with the bank. We always know that it's, like, our cards lock up and stuff like that.
But it's also the opposite. A lot of people don't take cash anymore.
Who?
Airport, don't take cash. Check-ins.
Oh, see, I don't fly. I
a
don't
lot
know that. I don't know that hard.
When you start flying, you need a debit card. And that's one of the things that I got in here. It's coming up. I need a computer, so I encourage, if you're part of like entertainment or music or film, you got to have a laptop or a computer easy, because you may need to cut something on the site. I may be traveling with Zello, and we might have a 10-minute set up, and now they says, look, we can have 20. I can't tell them, I can't do it now because I only brought 12 minutes. I got to be able to have my
double
laptop.
that.
I can put it together, do a quick mix with the program, and that way I'm ready for battle. If you have a computer, you got to make sure you have a computer charger. It's on the list.
Headphones.
Headphones are key.
I don't
so
want to know what you're working on.
true.
I don't.
So you can work on it, right?
I want to sleep.
But you got to have a computer, and I think it's really important. And you know what? How many times I've left my computer, or I've left the charger coming to the studio, not on a trip. So you don't want to spend an extra $200 at an Apple charger or something like that, because they're gonna get you. They're gonna bend you over.
Block.
Bogus at the airport or somewhere else. And if you're somewhere small, they're not even gonna have it. So like, you gotta have it.
Eat
So
before the airport.
eat.
Eat before the airport.
I don't eat because I like to get my
They
buzz
rate
when I
you in
drink my
prices
Long
at the
Island. I
airport.
don't-
Do they
Yeah,
not?
but I don't eat there. I just drink.
Everywhere.
They kill you on the drinks, but who cares? We're gonna get a drink in
They
us.
kill you more on the drinks
before-
than anything else, but like the food is just double the price for no reason at the airport.
I bring the vape. The vape's the big thing. I think with smoking is kind of waiting on and don't smoke. But yeah, just waiting on having a nicotine fit is something kind of bad.
I don't vape.
Music equipment, like if you're in entertainment, sometimes you might have equipment that you gotta travel.
Cases.
So you gotta have a proper, cases. You gotta have it secure, snug, so nobody doesn't damage it, doesn't get stolen. Instruments, right? So now we're talking about checked bags. You gotta have money. We talked about money for checked bags, but guess what? They don't take cash. You need a
Debit
debit
card, what
card,
do
so
you
you gotta have a debit card.
Yeah.
So you're saying now you gotta make sure money. So that's what I mean. You gotta have a debit card, and you gotta make sure there's money on it. You gotta make sure there's money on it, right?
Make sure there's money on it.
Yes.
Not that you have a debit card because they're gonna want to deposit.
Yes, they're gonna want to deposit.
And if you give them a credit card, they're gonna take that deposit almost immediately.
Let's say we're traveling with additional people. Like by yourself is one thing, but like
Emotional
travel
support
with it.
animals is a whole different issue too.
you know what? I didn't put the animals on the list, man.
It don't even matter though. It's
John, you still got
it's
that
additional
badger?
people.
John, you got that badger or no?
Buddy.
You have a badger?
Yeah, it's a long
Does
story.
that count as
You have a
need?
badger? I
an
want to know
emotional
this
support
story.
Does
animal.
That
I
count,
don't
that count
care
as
what it
need?
is. He
That
has
count.
a
Would that
badger.
count?
What?
That count as a need? That would count as a need.
Yeah, you don't need a pet on a business trip. I would check that, right?
I mean,
So-
yeah. They said, look, $5 million
A
on the
neck
table,
pillow.
and you gotta
I
leave
would
your
take a neck
dog at
pillow.
home.
I think we skipped
I'm-
this, but
Neck pillow.
did we say about restricted items? Did we talk about that?
What a restricted item.
No,
Stuff you can't bring
no,
on
we
a
didn't
plane.
talk
It
about
depends
that.
on
This
state
is
law.
a big deal.
It depends
Nah,
on
It
state law.
depends. Well,
definitely is.
that's you know what? That's a valid point. Where you're flying out from, whatever you have may be okay, but where you're landing, it may not be okay, and you're gonna have to fly back. And this is from
You have to fight your way back to
Like,
getting
and
home.
just from-
okay?
You gonna be in
All
handcuffs.
airports are regulated under federal law. So
I-
that's the mandate.
Okay.
I
so
understand
make sure you
that,
follow
but
federal
no,
law
but
regardless,
let me
guys.
tell you why this doesn't work though. The state of New York, you can't have a handgun without special licensing. That's a state law. I'm familiar with federal being covered, and it's a TSA, it's a federal thing. But what I'm saying is that we had a client who remained nameless, who brought a security person with him to New York armed, and the guy had a legit company, and he had a real thing, like a business and stuff where he was from, which will remain nameless. And he came and he had a great time in New York, and he escorted people around. I didn't even see him, but he escorted people around. And then on the 5th or 6th day, he went to the airport. He packed up, got up nice and early, brushed his teeth, got in an Uber, was happy. He's about to go back home. He got to the airport at JFK, and he declared that he had a weapon, unarmed, properly packed, not loaded, packed in appropriate packaging, everything.
Most would.
They let him fly. They let him fly here to New York with it.
Without saying a word to him.
Without a word. They didn't even care at O'Hare,
They
right?
didn't even
No,
wanna
he
go
wasn't
ahead
in
and say
O'Hare
nothing.
because he's from somewhere else.
He's from
It's not Chicago. So he declared to the TSA in New York and at like 9-10 in the morning that he's got a weapon. They proceeded to
honorable.
They met him with a lot of love and force and like a greeting. It was a strong greeting, and they escorted him somewhere else. And there's jails at the airport, so he spent a little time there.
Wow.
And then he got to get processed, and because there was a special license, there's an additional license or certificate or something like that you need in the state of New York. They're really tough on handguns, and they charged him. He got indicted, and he's going through the thing now. And he didn't do anything bad.
Still?
Yes, this was just very recent. This was like in the last 60 days. So like legit.
Yeah.
This is from personal experience. So check your baggage for restricted items.
Most definitely.
Like me, I carry my backpack, and you forget, you throw stuff in and out of your backpack, right? You may use it. So like I have a whole separate backpack just for traveling, and then one that I use for every day because you don't want it. What if they want to smell it? Whatever. You don't want any additional contact. You just want to smooth sail through the TSA. So restricted items. You got to think about this going there and coming back. So we went to the Grammys a few years back. You go to LA, there's marijuana everywhere. Cannabis is a big thing. You can get it. Let's say Memphis, you can buy it, right? It's legal. There's a lot of places. And you could buy as much as you want. But when you bought all these pre-rolls and you got all this stuff, now it's time to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's time to leave, you can only smoke so much. And people give you stuff. No.
Make your bestest stuff
we've tried
that
it.
you made in that state.
We've tried it. No.
Because it doesn't even...
No, we've tried it. We've had to dispose of stuff. We've tried it. So the thing is, you can't finish everything. And then people give you gifts. There's all kinds of stuff. You can't finish it, and you got to make sure it's not in the jeans that you wore the first night you got there when you were really wasted and you threw them off on the floor. And you got to make sure that you don't have anything restricted, like narcotics, contraband, weapons, loaded weapons, knives, anything they're not flammable. Yeah, I got the time right here, Johnny. It's 22. I actually got 22 since we hit go. So you can't have that, and you got to think about it leaving, and you got to think about it going back because you got to fly back. California don't care. They're like, hey, buy all the bud you want. We tax the hell out of it, but they're gonna give a damn when you get to the airport or Chicago if it's in a check bag. So just be careful. Use common sense. Make sure there's no restricted items in it because you might forget. Yeah, but do you want to be figuring out laws or you just want to be careful?
Should.
You want to, but you just
as an individual.
But you can't fly with like cannabis because it's federally illegal still. So like certain states have made it legal, but if it's legal in California, it can't cross the state lines. You can only consume it and use it in that state. So that's why certain things, if you're a smoker or whatever, that you can't do it. So just be careful, restricted items, because you don't want to have your choice. You don't want to go on vacation and come back on probation, like the saying goes, right? So that ain't it. You never heard that?
I ain't never heard that.
Oh yeah, going through security
Yes.
too. Furry clothing too. I learned this when I was flying back from New York. Furry clothing causes it to look like you got like contraband and stuff like
Yup.
that. It looked like you covering something.
They
else.
thought you had a bunch of Vienna sausages taped to you or something crazy. I remember that. They brought the dogs out. Yes.
Nah, but
It was
yeah, that
wild.
was something I learned too though.
So let's say you're in Memphis, and you gotta get a car rental. So you gotta make sure that you have a car rental secured. And then let's say that you gotta get from the airport to the car rental location. So you want to think about transportation. When you get there, you want to think about make sure that when you get to the car rental location, they inspect the vehicle. We got a car when we went to Memphis that had a bad tire, and we had a blowout and almost blew up in my face. Like literally, I looked at it. I was putting air in it. I said, "Hey guys, this tire doesn't look any good." Yeah. And I said, "I don't want it to blow up in my face."
Did you take a picture?
So
the whole
it's
tire
just-
blew out. There was no.
No, but did you take a picture of it beforehand? When
No,
you had thought
I
about
didn't
it?
pick up the vehicle.
It was.
A friend who will remain nameless.
It was sinister.
We had.
I'm just gonna
No,
call
look,
him.
look,
I'm just gonna call him
it was
Mr.
cool.
Jackson. I mean,
Look, it was
Sean,
cool when we
no.
got there, but on the way back we stopped to get.
You
On the way back
said.
we stopped to get gas.
I didn't.
On the way back we stopped to
picked
get
me
a
up,
gas.
all right? I didn't.
I wasn't stopping to get
No,
gas. I was
yeah.
stopping when the tire was low.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah,
Tire
it's
was
okay,
low.
'cause the tire was
The
low.
tire.
Seriously.
No, he left. The tire light came on. Whatever it was, the tire blew up. Okay,
Y'all
and the
should
thing
be
is,
checking that
well, hold
rental
on. We were,
before.
and not only did it blow up, but we could have like blew up at 80 miles an hour and had a really bad accident. But we were stranded in a town in southern Illinois, which will remain nameless, that is not a safe town for minorities. They're not very welcoming to minorities. They're very it's an
It's
old
not
population.
convenient. It's not
Yes.
convenient. It's nowhere
It's
near
not convenient. And I remember we were calling, and Sinister's my witness. We were calling a bunch of tire shops. Was it a Sunday? It was a Sunday or
That's even
Saturday.
worse. That it was a
It was on a
Sunday.
Monday, but it was after 5 o'clock, and these towns shut down. These little towns shut down. And I remember, what did I do?
It's like the movie Cars.
So when I called the tire place, like I was like, I'm gonna play this smart. And I was like, howdy there, buddy. I'm like, listen, I done traveling down 50 whatever, and you know the tire blew out, and I'm going to see my son, and I was wondering if you could come by with one of them tires.
I was trying to get back to my lady.
Yes, I'm traveling. Could you help
My
me out?
pa's waiting for me.
No, if I say, yo, man, what's up, bro? Can you give me it? They don't care. And what did that guy do? That guy says, we're closing at 5 o'clock. It was like 4:45 by the time we found somebody. Because whatever, we had AAA wanted us to drive like 100 more miles to like a place that would fix the tire. This guy came out, took the tire, went back to his business after he closed work.
After he closed up.
Put a whole tire on,
Blessings to
on the
that
rim.
man.
Yeah, shout out to that
Blessings,
guy.
shout out to
Man.
him.
We tipped him.
Good shit.
Put the tire in the rim, came back and got us back on the road. So like it was a thing that you got to know where you're at. So if only because I was aware of my surroundings, that I was not in a place that would probably be supportive of what we do, that you got to play the game. So no lie, I really did that, and it was awesome, and we got away with it. So I think that's the best part of it. And by the
was
time we
definitely
showed up,
awesome.
we had money. He didn't care.
Yeah.
But he was really nice and he helped us out, and he wanted to help with one of the Bellas, man. One of the, so we're good, right? And we're good. So you got to really think about that. So you got to have money. You can't go out of state no more and expect to not have money, because you got to eat. You got to travel. Like, stuff costs money. You can't
Real
go out
money.
of town, like real money.
If you leave items behind, you might gotta go back and get them.
Yes. Yeah,
Or
that happened.
consider it
Well,
a
that's why we
loss.
got a checklist.
No. Or consider it a loss and know your airport rules and
No, not-
understand
not
that
at
under
the
certain
airport.
rules and regulations at the airport, they have to refund you for certain luggage that you lose under their service.
No, he's
I
talking
ain't- I
about
wasn't
he
at the
forgot like
airport.
his shoes
I
or
forgot
something.
it. It was the little baby mansion we was at. Shout out Jay Shields. We was
So
at
you
the-
forgot something.
Shout out YG Devil and them. Shout out YG Deuce.
They had your
you feel
stuff,
me?
right?
They stayed at the mansion. Well, them two stayed behind. You feel me? Get my stuff for me. You feel me?
So they got you.
Yeah.
So debit, credit cards, you gotta have your cards, right? So what's another thing? We're in Chicago right now. It's like 40 degrees, kind of cold, right? It's probably colder in here than it is outside. But
Yes, it is.
if we're going to like
I was
Florida
fine
right now,
outside.
like the point is, like, you gotta do a weather appropriate clothing. So you gotta actually look at the weather of the place you're traveling to, because that's a lot of stuff that people take for granted, and
or
they
the
bring,
rooms that you're gonna be in.
huh?
Or the rooms that you're gonna be in.
Well, I mean, like the rooms not big of a thing. I'm saying, like,
AC.
if I'm going to Florida, I don't want to show up with all my hoodies and my long sleeves and everybody's in shorts. I didn't bring my swim trunks. That's what I mean. So like, if it's hot, you want to make sure that you have shorts, and you have boots. If it's real cold, it might be colder. So you got to think, you got to dress to the weather. So we're here, we've been cold for 2 weeks. When we go to Florida, it's gonna be nice, and you don't want to be missing out. You want to be stunting, have your good gear on. So you got to check the weather, and you got to have weather appropriate clothing. And so that's a big thing, because you don't want to be like bogus and everybody else is dressed nice because they checked the weather and you're fucked up. So sorry. So we're not gonna do that. Trip itinerary is very important, because I did it. So you need to know, if you got to get to a 7 a.m. flight and you got to get to the airport by 5:30, what time do you have to leave the hotel? What time do you have to leave the hotel? How do you know if it's 40 minutes, 20 minutes?
Itinerary
Itinerary is a schedule.
Itinerary is the schedule.
So you said itinerary?
Yeah, it's another word for a schedule. It's an overall thing. It's gonna tell you what time you're starting, what time you're leaving, what time you have to leave the hotel by with an Uber in order to get for a sound check, in order to catch your flight. So it's literally a step-by-step thing with times, or what time it keeps you on point and on schedule. Because if you lose one thing, it throws off multiple things. And plus, you get to know what you're doing. You want to know downtime. You want, okay, I came to work, I'm shooting a video. What time are we gonna get done? What time do we have the location to? All right, well,
How
you
much
know
time
what?
do I have to relax? And
Yeah,
go
or
get a
what time do I
coffee?
have to myself? Maybe I'm in New York for the first time and I want to go travel, want to see something, want to eat some food. So if you have a travel itinerary, you're able to, if you know people out there, you can contact them, say, hey, let's do dinner. I'm free from after 8 to all night.
I've never been to Puerto Rico. That's
So-
like on my bucket list this year. To
so
go and do that.
Think about that. If you have an itinerary, it really gives you a layout. I have to have it because I'm organized and we're doing multiple things for shoots and locations. So I always sit down, do yourself an itinerary and say, you know what do I want to do while I'm there? And that way you can, if you can, make your own time. Now, should every business person or businessman or woman have on them when they go to an event that's networking?
Their business card.
Yep. Business cards. They should have some promo cards, business cards, something that they can give out and where they can touch and bring with them. Same thing with like merchandise. If you have an event and you're traveling halfway across the country, you're getting paid a little money or no money. The only way you may make money is by having merchandise. So if you bought some shirts, some stuff like that, that will actually help you make cash. So merchandise is cool. You throw out a few into the crowd. I know I've learned that if you give away stuff, people won't even care. Like, they don't even want your shirt. But if you go out there and you hype people up and you throw one or two away in the crowd, and people will want it because they didn't get it. Now they want it because, like, man, I didn't get that shirt. I want one now. And you'll sell more
Even
shirts.
if it don't mean nothing.
Even if they didn't care about it. But people want it now because they missed out on getting it. So that's a little tip for they can do that. Another thing I like is have like a printed mailing list for them. Just a name, an email, phone number. And have somebody in the crowd while you're performing, while you're networking, and have people sign up for your mailing list. And you can put that in your, for email blast, for your website and stuff like that. That is going to be, because if they liked you and they networked with you, then you want to be able to contact them again because you guys already have something in common, something similar.
Right.
And you want to have engagement and repeated engagement with that audience. And that's the best way is by, hey, let me get your email. They might not want to give you their phone number, but they put their email down. And if they don't, then they're not interested and you're wasting your time anyway. So the printing mail list is dope. Pop-ups or banners, like when we travel, pop-up banners, they have them by the stage. It's a 2-foot banner, and you pull it out and they hook it. They have them, and it just has your picture, has a QR code, has your social media stuff on there. And this is you. So if you're out there, you go to events, pop-ups, merch tables, you got your banner standing next to you, like, oh, this is me. And people take pictures. That's a big thing, and it shows you like you're a brand, and you don't get lost. So they might not remember me after I get off stage or I meet them, but they're gonna see that banner. Plus, it makes them easy to engage. And if they take a photo, hey, let's take a photo in front of my banner. And again, that's your branding, and that's something that they're gonna keep.
So you gotta make sure that relies on like color schemes of people that most relate to that.
Do something neutral though.
Stuff like that.
Do something that's gonna
they
work
can
in
go
all
ahead
occasions.
and take on any occasion.
Yes.
And make sure that it can be like on any occasion that it can go like and be like an accentuation to their situation, whatever they're there for that day, whatever event they're there for and stuff like that, whatever event you're attending, vending for, stuff like that, popping up at, whatever you're selling your stuff at, whatever you're trying to vocalize and bring to realization.
It's free advertising.
What you got to do, but you got to make sure that people want to take a picture in front of it, because if it's only catered to you, that's cute. That's
Well, then
great.
you're at the wrong place anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, that's a good point. So, what about music files? Most of the time when people perform now, when's the last time you brought a CD to an event?
I never brought a CD to an event.
Because you're young.
Yeah,
Like, they don't do it. You got to have the music usually emailed or put on a thumb drive, a USB drive. And most computers ain't even going to got thumb drives no more, or USB. You got to have an adapter if it's a Mac. So, always have two forms. Have it in your email. That's what we got to add to it. Have it in your email and have it on a couple of thumb drives. That way, if one messes up, you can give it to the other DJ. If you gave it to somebody and what if they come back and say, I lost it? Yo, I did a sound check at 6 o'clock. I gave it to the DJ. Man, I dropped it. I'm sorry. You got to have a backup. And I've seen it's happened. It's happened to me and people that I've been with that they've lost it. So 2 copies of your music. Have backup. Always have a backup. You got to prepare for the worst. You got to have, in the military, they call it like a 0 fail mission. It's got to be 0 fail.
A backup is always a USB drive. I don't know
Yes.
what everybody is like mad about, but old school style kind of is like something you can always fall back on and rely on, and it's something that I always do regardless. So a USB drive you should invest in, especially if you do photography or like modeling.
I email myself stuff, and if you know, John throws it in a Dropbox or Google Drive, you got a folder and you can send it. I usually download it if worst comes to worst. You got the music files, and then you got to figure out your travel leaving. So if you had a good time in Puerto Rico and you got lit and you spent all your money, how you getting from the car rental place or back to the airport and paying your baggage fees? So you got to account for that. Account from travel every day. Like we were in New York for 5-6 days. Like literally the money that we spent every day was between like $100 to $200 in Ubers. Travel, depending on how it was.
Just in traveling.
More like $400.
Just in traveling.
Depending on how many people it was.
Back every time.
And you know why? Listen, I want to put this clear. I told the client that we stay where the business was in Manhattan, and I says you're gonna pay more money downtown New York for the hotel, but it's gonna save you money because everything we're going to is nearby, walking distance or something short. So what he did is he put us further away. No, he put us in a different borough, further away, because it was a little cheaper for the hotel room, but we lost it in travel. So that's what I explained to him, and this is our mistakes that people make. So that's why I think it's important that you kind of weigh those things. That's why your travel booking is very important, and the people that curate your trip. So think about that. So if you think about, hey, I'm staying here because I got a cheap hotel room, how much money do I got to spend to get to the shoot location every single day? How much money do I got to spend to get to the, if I'm an actor, to the film set? Because that's out of my pocket.
And that's just travel, not to mention if they don't feed you lunch.
Yes.
If you have to upkeep yourself, if you have to stay there all day.
Yes.
What they're paying you a rate, if they're paying you a rate per hour or per session, stuff like that, comes into play.
You have to account for that. And if you make a checklist, what this does is makes you aware of it. And it also makes the client aware of it. And you can say, hey, I've got parking. I've got a little bit of fees for travel. Can you take care of my baggage and my Uber? And mostly if you could tell them ahead of time, you can work it into the budget. As opposed to like, yo, I spent like $400 extra on this trip. Can you help me out? And they're like, man, so did I, right? But if you tell them in, prior, like, hey, this is what I'm projecting the budget to be, or Southwest gives you so many bags free. But if you fly in Spirit, they charge you for everything. Like charge you for like the seat cushion, right? And
that's crazy because I heard
everything.
Spirit's supposed to be the cheapest.
No, but they get you for like the seat cushion, like
They charge you about $100.
They said if you want to be comfortable.
yes, like I don't know. I got real comfortable with the person sitting next to me for way too long. It was way too long of a flight. And then like if you have big shoulders like me, you're doing this. So one's all the way back and one's forward, and you're doing this weird thing for a few hours.
A guy tried to fly me off Spirit one time.
See, didn't work.
That was the last time I talked to that
I
man.
bet. Did you keep the points at least though, or no?
He didn't. No, I looked at him and I said,
You would have been
"You're
stranded.
He was trying to go ahead and
Zello,
consult
she
me
would've been
about the
stranded.
situation. He was
She
trying to
would've been
consult me
stuck.
about the situation first, and I was just like,
You wouldn't need that debit card for the Super 8. So
I
that's
looked
why
at him and
it's on
I
the
looked at my
checklist.
phone and I was just like, yeah. I didn't even reply to him after that. I was just like, all right, and then I just
So
walked
no
out.
Spirit. I got a
Spirit.
rule. I fly direct. I don't want no changeover. I tell the client that in advance. If I do it myself, I fly direct because time is money, and if you're there to work or have fun or a little bit of both, you want to maximize your time. You don't want to spend it like sitting in 3 hours in Memphis when you're trying to go to New York. It's
Right.
not going to be, or unless you got some business in there and they can meet you and you can do some networking. That's a good use of time, but most of the time that is not it. So now you've had a good time. You check your baggage, right? You make sure you don't got nothing bad that you can't fly back with. You got to make sure you got your money to check your bag again. You got to get back to the airport, right? And from once you get back to the airport, you need to get from the airport to the house. And that's when you find out who loves you in life. Whoever picks you up from the airport is the people that love you and cherish those people.
And if if they have you double back because you forgot something
They
or a tragedy
double love you.
happened
Yes.
or whatever,
Then
you
they
know,
like you.
keep those people around for the
Keep
rest
them
of your
around.
life.
Keep them around because they ran back for you. Unless it was something stupid, then it's your fault and you deserved it and you're going to have to go without it. I'm
But
just
if
saying.
they still come back for you even when it's your fault and you're stupid.
But they should at least scold you, and they're going to tell you to get the checklist.
Oh, absolutely.
So, UrbanGrindTV.com, they go to the contact button. There's a form. They just throw their email in there, and they can get this checklist and kind of all the other stuff we do. Again, this is Behind the Grind TV on Urban Grind TV. And we talking to the people that kind of run the industry, some of the systems that help people, some of the game that really people need. You know, so how'd you feel about the list?
Some things that they don't really talk about are on this list.
They don't?
Yeah, nah. Most people don't really talk about.
How you guys feel about the list? You think we missed anything? They could put it in the comments on you guys. His
Yeah,
stuff.
most
That,
definitely.
man.
Yeah, if we
Shit.
missed
Done. He
anything,
didn't have the
feel
travel charger.
like we didn't say it or whatever, go ahead and drop that in the comments.
No, it's not
It's
there
so
yet.
dead. It's on struggle right now. So put it in the comments, right? And if we missed something, if there's something that we should have on the
anything, put it in the comments.
on the checklist, because we're open to input, and this is gonna be something that you're always gonna update. So depending on what you specialize in, that list. And like when I had equipment, I had a separate checklist just in the backpack, right, Sinister?
Yeah.
Because he freaked out one night. You thought you lost something, right? I think I had it in my pocket or something.
Yeah, it was the Allen key.
He had an Allen key in his pocket, and because you need it, and we were freaking out because we thought we lost it. So you get a checklist, and then you put it in one of those page protectors, and you put it in your backpack. So literally, when you leave, every time you leave a location, you go down that list and you make sure you have your equipment. If a battery costs $100 and you lose it 2 batteries a trip, you just lost $200.
Who randomly carries an Allen key and for what purpose?
No, so the Allen key is part of the camera equipment.
Take stuff apart on it.
Yeah, no, it's part of our kit. So to put together some equipment, you need an Allen key.
And that was the
Very essential.
And he was looking for it, and
Okay.
I had a Long Island or something, and I had it in my pocket. And then he called me, and I was like, "Don't worry, I got it in my pocket," and we were good. He checked it off the list, and all was well. But I did lose a Bose speaker that I'm mad about in a McDonald's in Manhattan. So to that person that picked up my speaker,
Blessings to you.
no blessings to you. The ancestors gonna be looking for you, man. Yes. So and make
He
sure.
already said somebody after
Yes,
you, so
yes, it's
just
we
return that.
we on your ass is all I'm saying. All right, we on your ass.
am not.
So if they need TV interviews, if they need music videos, promo, if they want to tap in, we got all kind of different opportunities to work with artists and entertainers. 888-380-1913. Hit the lineup and get your grind up. And they can follow me at Urban Grind TV on all social media. Where they gonna find you at?
Yeah, you could already know Puerto Rican.creative.
You ain't gonna find her on Spirit. That's what.
Man,
that's
no,
what I'm saying.
absolutely not. Don't even try to catch me. And don't even try to come at me with that spirit shit. I'm sorry.
Get
Excuse
her.
me.
Listen, I need
Anyway,
someone to buy her a Spirit flight to Gary, Indiana, right now, please.
I could drive to
I
Indiana.
know.
I'm good.
Whoever buys her a Spirit flight to Gary, I will give them a free interview. All right, I want you to do it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what? You send that in my DM as
You got a
picture.
business? I don't care what
get
kind of
you the
business you
interview, but
got.
I'm not flying out there.
No,
You got
I don't.
the-
Yeah, we're not gonna use it. She won't use it. But whoever buys that and puts it up, I like whatever smoke shop, whatever. We're gonna bring you on. You're gonna get an interview. Spirit.
Smoke shop,
Spirit.
food,
And
restaurant,
put her in the aisle seat too. So
hairstylist, boutique
put her in the
shop,
aisle so they're gonna
whatever it
elbow
is.
you as they come through. That's it.
Yeah. Anyways,
Where they find you at?
before you rudely interrupted me.
Scandinavian creative.
Absolutely
You know.
not. You know what? I wish you would. Anyway, Puerto Rican.creative on my main page. If you ever need any makeup or any design that you want, mua.pr.creative. You already know, whatever you create, I design.
Y'all already know, man. It's your boy Thot Boy Zello, aka SMG Zello, the Talk a Lot artist, man. UGTV.
About the website. What's the site?
Oh yeah, y'all
What's
go.
the site,
Yeah, I
Sinister?
forgot about our website.
What's
bro.
the website, bro?
SinisterMusicGroup.com.
Go check that out.
SinisterMusicGroup.com.
Yeah. Y'all
Right.
can see. Y'all.
SinisterMusicGroup.com.
It's SinisterMusicGroup.com. Y'all should already know because I done been promoted it a long time ago. But most definitely, man, y'all should go check out the website. That's how
Except his new website coming soon is gonna be ATL Zello. That's how they call him down in Atlanta.
No.
He went down to Atlanta.
No, man.
ATL Zello. Man, well, this is Behind the Grind. This your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business, man. Until then, we'll see you next time. Let's get it.